Hey everyone, I'm going to show you how I make biscuits, and mine, I won't be looking as pretty doing mine because I kind of make a mess with them, but they're so good. I've cooked a pan so you can see what they look like. They've just come out of the oven. Don't those look great? And I always put butter on the top of mine. I cook them just in my round skillet, and this skillet somebody gave us as a wedding gift. So this skillet is, I've had it for 49 years almost, so isn't that something how long this stuff will last? But what I'm going to do is I'll let them sit here for a little bit, and then I will transfer them to a plate. And then I always just kind of take something to put under there to let the steam escape so they don't get so mushy. I really would like to have been able to cook them when I got in, to actually make them. I've tried making them and letting them sit for a couple of hours and then cook them when I get in, and they just don't rise. So I'll make these before we go to church. That's what I've done. And so anyway, I had a couple of biscuits left over. I've just greased my other iron skillet with the Crisco. And I've made, this is a bowl, it's a Tupperware bowl that I use, that I just keep the lid on, and this is what I make my biscuits in. And so the only time I sift my flour is like when I go to use it again, to make sure there's not little bits in there that's dried out from the last time I made biscuits. But anyway, I make the whale, and then I just grab, I've put that all in there, and I just grab a hunk of the Crisco. Now I have used oil before when I didn't have the Crisco, and they make good biscuits too. And so anyway, we're just going to start, and there's really no measurements I can give you with this. I know there's recipes out there, and maybe you could find one to see, but I just do my flour, the whale, and then I just start pouring my buttermilk, and I'm going to work with it until I get all of that shortening kind of mashed out and incorporated with the buttermilk. And when I say that I'm not pretty making them, a lot of times I got a lot of dough left on my fingers that I have to get off, but you know what, they're good, and they're really inexpensive to make when you get this is self-rising flour. And I've never made biscuits with the all-purpose, because you know you got to add your baking powder and all that, so you want to make sure that you get the self-rising. And so I'm going to put a little more buttermilk in there. And I always just take my little finger, my last two fingers, and I just kind of pull the flour in, and I just start to, I don't know, I guess kind of spin it myself. And when you do that, that helps to bring that flour in from the edges too, to start forming the dough that you want. And you just keep doing it until you get to the consistency you want. You don't want to over mix, because they won't be flaky or tender, but they've got to be enough mixture of the flour in there to be able to pick them up and to do the biscuits. Otherwise, you've got them sticking to your hand. So there, I threw a little flour out, so that's okay though. These are something that you can do. You know, I would watch my mama, and I was always amazed at when she pinched off her biscuit, that she could just take it. And I'll try to show you her technique. I have never mastered that technique. Mom did it too, but Mama more so. And Mama was left-handed, and it was just neat watching her work with that left hand. See what I'm talking about? And I just threw dough on the floor. But anyway, we're gonna sprinkle some over it, and then I'm gonna start to knead it to get my dough that I want, so that I can pinch it off and that I can start working with it. There's others I know that, I know Miss Brenda, she's an expert on the biscuits, and there's others too, but mine won't be as pretty, but they will be good, and the kids will love them. And so I've pretty much got the consistency that I want. And you see I've got this on my hands, and I showed y'all this technique before. If you'll just take flour in your hand, and I've got to get some of this off, so you're gonna have to bear with me. I've got my trash can here where I can try to get some of the flour off of my hands, so that I can work with it a little bit better, so I hadn't got all the stuff sticking. Okay, so then I pinch off, and then I begin to work with it. My mama would take it like this, and she would just go around with it with her fingers, kneading it underneath. And y'all, I never have mastered that technique. I was always amazed. So I just kind of fold mine back and forth. I make them, these are a little bit smaller, but see how that looks? See how messy my hands are? But anyway, there's a biscuit, and I'm gonna pinch off another piece, and I'm just gonna knead it until I get it to where I think that it needs to be. There's another one, okay? And so this is what you do. And I'm not going to keep y'all while I show this, but see how easy that is? Now, are you going to make a mess? Yeah, I've been making them for a long time, and I still make a mess. But you know what? They're one of the most requested things, that my chicken nuggets that my family always wants, when they'll say, Bella, are you making homemade biscuits? And so, and I have several of the family that loves the inside biscuits. So on that pan, I was able to get 5 little inside biscuits. So maybe everybody will be satisfied. Remember me telling you about my Paul Bell? First time I made them, they were so hard that, I mean, you really could have thrown them for a ball, I think. But, and my brothers made fun of me. And anyway, all that flour was on top, and he told me, he said, Debbie Gal, I believe them's the best biscuits I ever eat. And so what did Paul Bell do for me? He encouraged me, and he gave me the wish to want to go on. And so see what we can do when we encourage people. And I'm not going to keep you, but see, this is how they're looking. And I'm going to finish it. And now how I cooked mine is I cooked them on 425. And I cooked them for about 18 and a half minutes on that. The last minute or so, because they've begun to brown on top, I threw the broiler on just to get a little more browning. Now you just have to be careful with that and not forget, because you'll burn them. But they're gonna be so pretty. I want y'all to see them before I let you go, how they're gonna look on the bottom, and they're gonna just turn out beautifully. Look how pretty those biscuits. Woo, I'm gonna slide them over there. Look how pretty those biscuits look. And you saw the tops, and the butter just makes them so good. But I'm gonna end up flipping this over and putting a little something, just under there enough to let some steam out so that they don't get soggy. But I hope you'll try making the biscuits. I hope that I've shown you enough that you know that you can do them. It's messy, but they're good. It's an inexpensive way. But my family, I'll make 2 pans of it, and I don't know, that's gonna be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. It's gonna be about 25 biscuits. Now I may have a few left over, but there won't be many. But I hope that you'll try it. I hope that you'll keep peace in your heart, a faith in your heart, peace in your home, and good food on your table. I love you, and God bless.